Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're all going to be different tribes and we're going to be going through different regions like forests and lakes and mountains, and we're going to be trying to gather different resources in those areas and use them to our advantage. We're also going to be trying to lead our tribe to victory. Today we're talking about Rise of Tribes. This is from Breaking Games. It's for 2 to 4 players. It's a Euro style game. It's on Kickstarter right now, so let me show you how it's played and then I'll see you on the other side. In Rise of Tribes, you're going to be growing your tribe. You're going to be moving them to different regions like forests and lakes and mountains. You're going to be creating villages, which will score you points each round. All these different regions will allow you to get different resources, which you'll be spending sometimes on gold cards like developments, which will allow you to upgrade some of your actions, and you'll be getting points for those. You'll also be getting points for doing different achievements, like having a majority in 3 lake hexes. You'll be selecting actions by rolling dice and placing them in. Hey, and if there's 2 suns, then the civilization's booming and you get a better action. But if there's 2 moons, then it's a weaker action for the different actions that you'll take. There's also different events that might come up that can be positive or negative. But be careful, because if there's too many tribe members on a region, you might end up losing everything, including your village. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to get their own tribe and get a board with the tribe's name on it. They're also going to get 20 tribe members, and they're going to get a deck of gold cards. And since this is a Kickstarter project, I want to put a disclaimer that anything you see here is subject to change, art, components, and you want to check the Kickstarter page for the final assets. Here we have a 3-player game set up, and you'll see 3 different types of tiles. We have mountains, forests, and lakes. Now in this 3-player setup, every time you play the game, there'll be different tiles laid out in different places. So every game is going to feel a little bit different, and it will set up differently depending on the amount of players that are here. Each round goes through 5 different phases. In this first round, I'm going to just start with the second phase, which is rolling the dice. So that player is going to roll these dice. There's 3 things that can be on there: a sun, a moon, or a blank. When they roll these dice, if they're both the same, either both blanks, both suns, or both moons, then you'll draw an event card and certain things will happen. We'll go over some of those later. Then they're going to take each one of these dice and they have to select 2 different actions to do. Here are your choices. You can grow, move, gather, or lead. So let's say they select the grow action. They're going to take one of these dice and they're going to move it here up on the left side, so to push these down so that the last one just comes down here. Now, if you have 2 suns or 2 moons, different things will happen. Normally you just grow and you'd add 3 tribe members. But in this case, the civilization's booming, so you would actually get to grow 4 tribe members. And since they're growing 4 tribes members, you can place them and split them up into different places that contain your tribesmen. In this case, it's just 1. So they're going to place all 4 of them here. But if it was something like this and they had that, then they could actually split them up any way they see fit. But in this case, they were all going to be right here. And for their second action, they're going to take the blank die and they're going to move. So this one will slide down, these ones will slide over. And since there's not 2 of suns or moons, they're basically going to do the basic action, which is move 4 tribesmen. So in this case, they can move 4 different tribe members, 1 tile adjacent to where they are. And they can only move 1. So let's say they go 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, and spread out. Now normally you'd move on to the next phase, but I want to show you what the other actions are. Here, gather, you would get 2 different resources off of 2 hexes that you have tribe members on. Now just to show you which resources go with which tiles, although these are usually in a general supply, and you could take 2 from 2 different tiles. So let's say we would take these 4 resources and we'd put them near our board. And the other action you could possibly do is lead, and that's basically taking 2 cards by default, and of course those are the modifiers for how well the civilization's doing. So you would draw 2 from your gold deck and just place them in your in progress section of your player board. And these cards could be developments. Those are blue cards and they help you upgrade your actions. For example, when you move, you'll be able to move 2 additional tribe members. If you upgrade to the basketry, then you can gather 1 additional resource per hex. Or maybe you get pottery, which will allow you to grow and what allows you to add 2 additional tribe members. Now all of these cost something. You'll spend resources, and then once you're able to do this, you would then get this point, and this would move over to the other side of your board to completed goals, and the points are tracked through this here. The other type of gold cards are achievements. These are the brown cards, and this is something that you get points for if you're able to do what the card says. In this case, if you have all of your 20 tribe members on the board, you'll get 4 points. Or maybe you need to gather any 6 resources in one turn without events, or maybe you need to spread across the land and occupy at least 8 hexes with one of your tribe members. Now you'll be completing those goals at the end of your turn. The other thing you can do at the end of your turn is you can create a village. And depending on your tribe, you'll need different types of resources to do so. In this case, we would need 3 of the fish and 2 of those and a forest here. And then you'd be able to turn those in and you would be able to get a village for that. So you would place that village in one of the hexes that you have at least one tribe member. There's not another village anywhere else. Now these villages are important because they do 2 things. Number 1 is at the beginning of your turn, the first phase is you'll get 1 point for each village that still remains where you have your tribe member. The other benefit is for each village you have, if you take the lead action, which as we saw was how you get these gold cards, you can first recycle these, which is you can take one that you don't think you're going to be doing, you put it at the bottom of your gold deck, and you draw one off the top, and you're able to get basically a new goal. And that's before you do the drawing there. So you actually have to recycle through and try to get things that are more beneficial to you. And so as you see in the order of play, you're going to be getting points for your village, then you're going to be rolling dice, taking actions, resolving conflicts, which we'll go over in just a minute, and then building villages and reaching goals. So now that's the next player's turn. They're going to possibly earn points for villages, and they're going to roll the dice. And the dice they take are going to be the ones that are down here, then they'll roll them. Now, look at the board, even just after one turn, regardless of what they roll in place here, this is going to be booming, so this is going to be a great action for somebody. Now, again, if you roll doubles of anything, you'll have to take one of these event cards. Let's go over what some of these do. And some of these can be good, like the Dugout Canoe, where you can just pay 3 wood to acquire the card, and then you can travel through lake hexes for free. It might be a good thing like Shared Knowledge, which is you pay any of the 3 resources, and at the end of your turn, if you share a hex with an opponent, you can pay resources to this card to draw 1 gold card. And you discard when 3 resources have been paid. They could be something bad, like a drought, which has a population limit of 4. Normally you have a population limit of 5. We're going to go over that in just a moment when we talk about resolving conflicts, but this would cause conflicts to happen quicker. And as we saw in one of those previous cards, some of these, if you roll doubles, they would get removed. And as you can see, there's an event discard spot here. Now, speaking of conflicts, after the actions phase, if there's more than 5 tribe members, regardless of which color they are, then a conflict will happen. And what happens is each player will continue to lose 1 tribe member until there's only one basically tribe remaining. Now in this case, since the blue tribe was the one with the village and there's no blue tribe members left, the village is also lost. So this player is just sitting there all by himself and all those are gone. And if you've lost all your tribe members, on your next turn you'll be able to place 2 tribe members out on an unoccupied spot if possible. Now an advanced way to play the game is to flip your tribe board over. It'll have a leader on there and each tribe gets a card, and that card is double-sided. You'll pick a side, you'll place it up here by the name of the tribe up here, and it will have a special ability for you that will kind of have you focus on something different and have you play the game a little bit different from a strategy perspective. To learn more about these cards, you'll want to check out the Kickstarter page. Alright, well there's Rise of Tribes, and as you can tell, it's sort of a medium weight Euro style game where you're building your tribe and you're growing it, and then you're moving it around and you're trying to gather resources and you're trying to figure out what to do with those resources. Do you build the villages to get you points every round? Or do you spend those resources to kind of get some of those achievements or development cards that will help you build that engine to get things going again? But you got to be careful too, because if you're building up villages, then other people might get stronger, come over and take over your village, and then it's gone. But the more villages you can keep, the more points you're getting, and it's sort of a race to the end. So if this sounds interesting to you, I recommend that you click the link in the description of this video below, and that will take you right to the Kickstarter project, and I'm sure the people at Breaking Games would love your support.